We know the suspect was involved in a shootout with police officers of some kind. For the latest on that, we're going to go down to Lieutenant Chris Olivarez, who's with the Texas Department of Public Safety. He's a spokesman with that department. Thanks so much for joining us. So this is one of those stories where we think we know what happened, but we may not. So if you wouldn't mind, tell us how this unfolded.
Right. So good evening, Tucker. Great to be with you. So first, I want to acknowledge the first responders, the men and women of law enforcement that showed up to this scene. And it's an act of heroism to be here at this scene to respond to the situation. Also to acknowledge and also offer our condolences on behalf of the Texas Department of Public Safety to all the victims, the families, and also the entire Uvalde community. So what we know right now, Tucker, is that the suspect was involved in a family disturbance with his grandmother earlier on the day when he actually shot his grandmother, fled the scene, and local law enforcement received a call of a crash and a man with a gun nearby where the school was at. And also, that's when law enforcement responded to the school. The suspect was able to make entry into the school and started shooting children, teachers, anybody that was in his way. He started shooting every single person. We had several law enforcement officers try to make entry into the school, but they were met with gunfire by the suspect. The suspect was wearing some type of body armor during that shootout with law enforcement. Several officers were shot. And at that time, we did have a tactical law enforcement team arrive on scene who were actually able to make entry, and the suspect then returned fire to that actual tactical team, in which the suspect was then shot and is now deceased. Right now, at this time, we do have 18 children that are deceased and 2 adults that are deceased at this time right now.
2 adults. That's a correction from what we reported a moment ago. Can you update it, I should say. Can you tell us who they were, characterized? Were they both teachers?
Well, we know for sure, Tucker, that one was a teacher. The other adult is the suspect. As far as the type of firearm that was used, we know that it was a long rifle that was used. We have ATF, we have FBI, multiple law enforcement agencies on scene working together to try to identify how the suspect was able to obtain this rifle, and also, most importantly, to see what kind of motives the suspect had. So we're still working together. Everything is still preliminary. This is still an active investigation right now.
Yeah. So it's my mistake, of course, you were including the shooter in the casualty list.
Right.
Thank you. Chris Olivarez, I appreciate your coming on.